Hi guys, welcome to another chaotic day in my garden. Today I need to do some things. We got things to do. Yesterday I set up some beans to soak. I like to soak them for 12 to 24 hours before planting to help them hydrate. I'm just a very impatient person, especially when it comes to direct sowing. So it's not necessary. You don't need to soak your beans, but I feel like it makes them germinate faster. So I like to do it. I have these beans, runner beans, sunset. I am planting these because it says they make beautiful light pink flowers. Doesn't that sound beautiful? It honestly doesn't say anything about the flavor, but you know, we'll see. I also have Blue Lake, whole bean Blue Lake FM-1K, so guessing that means this is a hybrid of, I know the Blue Lake is like a classic green bean, so I got some of those. I've never tried black beans and pinto beans, but because you would think you would need so much space to make this worth your time, because if you could imagine how many separate bean pods it would take to make a decent amount of beans set up for storage, but I would just kind of like to see for myself how many I can get with individual plants. I've used the whole packet. These are 25 seeds each. They are from 2021, but I normally do have pretty good germination with MI Gardener, so we'll see. Got pinto beans and black beans. I have this 4x4 bed back here. We're going to be planting the beans in this trellis here. It says at least 6 inches. I measured from stake to stake right there is 9 inches. So I wanted to be chaotic and squeeze one in between, but I'm just gonna for here. I almost forgot. I'm also going to be using a seed inoculant. Supposedly you need this if you've never planted legumes here, if you want them to be able to pull nitrogen from the air. It sounded kind of silly and it didn't sound necessary, so I didn't do it. And my fall beans and peas did nothing for me. And then I did buy this and I planted some new peas, and those seem to have grown much faster and better. So perhaps I'm a believer now and we'll be using this. You don't need a lot, and they give you like very specific instructions if you want to. Oh, see, I just dumped the whole bag. This wasn't very expensive. Let me scoop up as much of that as I can. Anyways, they give you very specific instructions of how much you need, and it's very minuscule. They give you like exact grams, and like your scale likely doesn't even go that small, but I am no scientist. We're just gonna roll them around in there. Normally I would have rolled them around in this container, but since I dropped it on the floor, maybe I should try to roll it around here. That is not a shadow. That is my inoculant that I just dumped all over the floor. So we'll take these beans out. They're nice and plumped up. These beans are huge. And kind of roll them around in this. It says you're supposed to roll this around, but honestly, I decided to try this after I had already planted some, so I just sprinkled a little bit on the soil and had watered it in, and that seemed to have worked too. So, not sure how exact science this is. That cover crop also said peas, lentils, and hairy vetch. But in the description, it did say beans also. So, I don't know. I didn't want to buy 2 kinds. So I'm going to do one at each stake over here. This is not that sturdy, and definitely wouldn't want to put tomatoes or cucumbers or anything like that over here. So we'll see how these beans do. Beans get planted pretty deep because you can see the seed is pretty big. So we're going to go like an inch down. I have decided to stick my last two sunset beans back here on this leftover tomatoes that I couldn't kill that I stuck in the ground on this trellis that was on an old garden bed that's falling apart, but I still haven't taken it fully apart, so I decided to use it. We're gonna stick these here in the middle. Why not? Look at this. We're going to need to harvest / deadhead later for sure. I just was out of town for a few days and this is popping off. My goodness, it's a loud, noisy day. Sorry guys. But we're gonna do some black beans next. I'm gonna pull these out and put them in my inoculant. This is really pretty packed full. I've got some cucumbers over here, zinnias in the middle, tomatoes over here, some other flower I don't remember. But I'm hoping they can all cohabitate happily, you know? All right, back here I have tomatillos, a bunch of hot peppers, and flowers again. I came back and reseeded twice melons, but they haven't come up, so I don't know if maybe like all my squash and my cucumbers came up, just not my melons. 2 to 3 different kinds. So maybe my watermelons need the soil warm or something. I don't know. I don't quite know what's happening. Maybe I'll start some indoors instead, even though direct sowing is best for anything from that family. Squash, melons, pumpkins, but I don't know. I think I'm going to start some inside. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have less than I thought. I only have 6. So I guess over here, these are going to get 1 per hole, and we'll pray for the best. I wanted the melons to trail out the front, by the way. I'm not an absolute mad woman that thinks I can grow all this and melons in here. This bed back here will be the true test of the inoculant because I had my fall Blue Lake beans, the same exact variety I'm putting in here now. I had them back here. I got a couple of beans very sporadically and then the frost came. So we're going to try again. This time they're going to be inoculated, so we'll see. We're going to have them over here on this side because on the other side I very chaotically have an extra tomato shoved in there. Ooh, she dry back here. It's really dry back here, so I would guess this dripper right here is probably not working. I'll need to keep an eye on that. Or just literally test it, but you know. This type of bean is white. so you can see it getting covered in the inoculant a little better. We are also going to go ahead and put some here in the front with the remnants of my fall planted peas. Gave me like one pea. By the way, these probably had about 3 months before the frost came. Well, let's see. These were sowed 10/9, October 9th, and we did not even get our frost until I think it was like January 26th or something like that is when our first fall frost came. So they had plenty of time to give me more than just a couple of beans. So that was another reason I really decided to go ahead and purchase some inoculant. By the way, guys, this is actually a cabbage. There's my little cabbage. Back here on this matching bed, I have some sweet peas here. I've heard that they really don't like it hot. Of course, we only have a limited window before we get really hot here. So I'm going to plant my beans over here anyways, because I need to get a move on that, because though the beans can handle more, I'm not so sure they'll survive our summer. So you got to get them in there as quickly as possible. Yeah, look at this little thing. I put this in here 11/26 according to this tag. Useless. Okay, sorry guys. If I wait for these dogs to stop barking or go inside, the sun will probably be gone. So I'll cut out as much of this as I can, or that I don't need to talk through, because I know it's very irritating listening to a dog. But we're going to go ahead and finish planting the rest of those beans, and I need to make trellises for them. The ones we're going to do are my pinto beans, and those are, they said on the pack that they are a bush bean, but can be grown as a pole bean as well if you want to save space. So I'm not exactly sure how tall it's going to get, but I definitely am going to be squeezing them a little bit closer together. So I thought I would make a trellis. I'm going to use these bamboo stakes and make Teepee type trellis. I'm hoping to fit 6 beans back here in and around this. The cabbages will either give me a cabbage or die to our heat sooner rather than later. So these will be coming out to give more room for other things, or for these beans to get bigger if they need. I have my Cricut scissors because that's what I could find really quick. They're very sharp, even though they're tiny. I have 5-foot bamboo stakes. I found these particular ones at Walmart. 12 stakes, 5 foot, and they were like probably $6, something like that. And we will be using twine. Okay, so what this is, I just assumed it didn't produce anything because it never flowered or it never got close to looking like it was flowering. The foliage didn't die fully back. And then we got a hard freeze, so the plant died. And I was trying to avoid taking this apart to go hunting for these potatoes, since I assumed it didn't have the chance to make any potatoes, but there's a potato. I guess we have to take this apart. Ugh, I really should not have put potatoes all the way on the bottom. I'll probably crush these plants when I put it back together. I'm no weakling. This is heavy. Ew. Found the seed potato. Gross. So there's my little surprise harvest. Alright, so I'm not going to put any fertilizer in this tier, because obviously the idea with the inoculant that it will allow those beans to create their own nitrogen. I will fertilize the other tiers since I have them apart, and I see a lot of fungus gnats too. And I know that for the most part fungus gnats are a nuisance, but their larvae can eat your plant roots, so I'm going to spread some sand. I think this is what caused the fungus gnats. When I was direct sowing seeds in here, I put this mulch on top, and I think that's where they were bedding. See, I don't know if this is mold, roots, or both. I don't think that's the fault of the GreenStalk. Like I had mentioned in a previous video, I put the cheap soil in this one. Okay guys, never put potatoes or anything you have to dig in the bottom of your GreenStalk. Back to planting my beans. By the way, what are the chances I didn't pierce any of those potatoes when I threw all these in there? On that bottom row, I put 6 6 times. I didn't stab any of my little potatoes.
I'm just calling to say
So I will need to keep these moist by hand, like in each individual pocket until they germinate, and then I can go back to watering from the top. I am going to fill up the reservoir on top because I'm pretty sure I didn't water in every single tier when I added the fertilizer. I have 3 beans left, so I'm going to go chaotically throw them somewhere. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. I didn't get to sow my amaranth or harvest / deadhead my flowers, so we'll just leave that to another day. I did, however, get my surprise harvest of potatoes, so until next time. I just rinsed my potatoes. You're supposed to let them cure first.